All right, let's take a look at parallel versus perpendicular. Parallel lines have the same slope, so we say they have equal slopes. Perpendicular lines, now perpendicular, remember those are two lines that meet at a right angle. Okay, perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. Okay, so this refers to their slopes. So you can determine whether a line's parallel or perpendicular by looking at your slope. Okay, well, so what does it mean to be a negative reciprocal? Well, if we have 3/4, okay, and we want to know what the reciprocal is, okay, remember you just flip it over, so this becomes 4/3. And negative reciprocal means if it's a positive here, this needs to be a negative here, so we get -4/3. Now, sometimes we get confused with when we have a whole number like number 2. Okay, so to make it a fraction, put it over 2/1. That's the same thing. Now, if you flip it, that becomes 1/2. And this, since this was positive in the beginning, it needs to be negative over here. Okay, so this one here, it's a -7/8, which means if we flip it, it becomes 8/7. And the negative now becomes positive, so the negative reciprocal is 8/7. So if this is 1, then this is also going to be -1. That's your negative reciprocal. And 0, okay, the reciprocal of 0 is undefined. Okay. Because this is like saying 0/1. If you flip that, you get 1/0, which 0 can't be in the denominator, so you get undefined. Now, why did we go through this? Well, if you have a line that has a slope of 3/4, then another line that's going to be perpendicular to it would have a slope of -4/3. Okay, they have to be the negative reciprocals. So if one line has a slope of 2, the other line will have to have a slope of -1/2. If one line has a slope of -7/8, the other line has to have a slope of 8/7. If one has a slope of 1, the other one has to have a slope of -1 in order to be perpendicular. And this one here, if you have a 0 slope, that means it's a horizontal line. And an undefined is a vertical line, which means that every horizontal and vertical line are perpendicular to one another. Forms that right angle. All right, so let's take a look at this. It says use the slope to determine whether if lines A, B, and CD are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So this will be a short exercise here. We're going to see what these will be. So let's take a look here. We've got AB and CD. So we're looking at AB together and find the slope of CD. So let's first start with AB. Here's our line AB. We've got our 2 points here. So the slope for this one is going to be, now you can write it over here 2 and 6. We could bring this and put 3 and 3. Stack them up here. So 3 minus 6 over -2 minus 2. Okay, this becomes a -3 over -4, which becomes +3/4. Okay, for line CD, the slope is going to become 0 minus 3 over -1 minus 3. That's -3 over -4, which is going to be a +3/4. So since these are the same, okay, so we have 3/4, 3/4 types of lines. Well, they are parallel because they have the same slope. All right, let's try 2. So the first line is going to be for AB. So we'll have 2 minus 4 over 0 minus 5. This gives me a -2 or -5, which is a +2/5. Okay, so we put 2/5 over here. Now we put CD. Slope for CD is going to be 8 minus 3 over 1 minus 3. That gives me 5 over -2. So are these negative reciprocals? Yes, they are. Okay, they're reciprocal of the first. One's positive, one's negative, so that means that these lines are perpendicular. Okay, let's try another one. Once again, we'll start with AB. So we have 8 minus 6 over negative 1 minus 2. That'll be 2 over negative 3, so we get negative 2/3. Now for line CD, slope for this line is going to be 2 minus 3 over negative 1 minus 3. Negative 1 over negative 4, which is positive 1/4. So since these are not equal, they're not negative reciprocals, this would be neither. All right, let's try this next one. We're going to have for AB again, 3 minus 4 over 2 minus a negative 1. So this becomes negative 1 over, this becomes plus, 2 plus 1 is 3, so we get negative 1/3. And then for line CD, our slope becomes 2 minus 3 over negative 1 minus 3. Negative 1, this becomes a negative 4. Whoops. Here I am combining all these different numbers here. Let's go back and erase this one. I'm not sure where I got those numbers from. Let's try this again. All right, we have 3 minus 6 over negative 5 minus a negative 4. There we go. 3 minus 6 is going to be a negative 3. And this becomes plus, so negative 5 and a positive 4 is going to be a negative 1. So this becomes a positive 3. So are these negative reciprocals of each other? Yes. So this would be perpendicular, and we can just abbreviate perpendicular. All right, continue the next one here. So we'll have 13 minus negative 15 over negative 3 minus 4. Change this to plus. So we're going to add this. It gives us 28. This becomes a negative 7. Divided. Simplify that. It becomes a negative 4. So we get negative 4 here. For CD, we're going to look here, we're going to get 5 minus a negative 7 over negative 2 minus 1 plus plus, which gives us 12 over negative 3. Divide that, gives us negative 4. So because of the same, these lines are parallel. All right, let's try 6. We have, once again for AB, we get 8 minus 2 over negative 3 minus 3. Gives me a positive 6 over a negative 6 which is -1. And for CD, we get 1 minus a -1 over 7 minus 5. Plus gives me 2 over 2, which is going to be 1. So since these are opposite reciprocals, this is going to be perpendicular. All right, I want you to pause the video, try 7 and 8, 9 and 10. Come back and check your answers when you're done. All right, so let's take a look and see how you did on 7 and 8. All right, for the slope of AB, you get 2/7. And then on CD, you get 7/2, which they are reciprocals of each other, but they're not negative reciprocals, so this one's going to be neither. Number 8, the slope of AB is -1/2. The slope of CD is -1/2, so that makes them parallel. And then we take a look at our last two. AB, you have the slope becomes undefined for AB. For CD, it's going to be 0. So they are reciprocals of each other, which means one's a vertical line, one's a horizontal line, so they are perpendicular. And number 10, you have the slope of AB is going to be undefined. The slope of CD is also undefined, which means those are two vertical lines, and two vertical lines would be parallel. All right, so that concludes our lesson on parallel versus perpendicular when it comes to slopes.